I wanted to show you a quick walkthrough of creating a post in WordPress. Now, creating a post and a page are very, very similar. The format and the interface is going to be very similar. So for this example, I'm going to show you a walkthrough of creating a post. Now, I'm right now at the dashboard in my admin panel. I'm going to come under Posts and Add New. And this is my editing board. So as always, everything on the left side is going to stay consistent as you navigate throughout the admin area in your WordPress install. The very first thing at the top of the page, I'm prompted to enter a title. Now you can do this in any order you want. A lot of writers will wait until they're finished actually writing their content to put in their title. And then right here is the edit box. That's where you're going to type in your content. So you can just click in there and type your content. And you can spell correctly if you like, but hey. Now for purposes of this demonstration, I've prepared some content just in a text editor. I'll just copy and paste. Oops. Well, I'll use my shortcut, Control V is paste. So I've pasted my text in here. Now you can do it that way. You can start from square one, just typing your text in there if you like. Go back and do the same, copy and paste my title into the title bar. And that's essentially my article. I can do a preview. Whoops, let me pull my view over here. If you look over here, you can press the preview button at any time. And that's going to, when it loads, show us what that post will look like. Here we go. So you can see there's my article. Now it's not quite formatted the way I wanted to. In my copy and paste, I got a break there that I wasn't really looking for. I want to turn this into bullet points. So let me close out of that, and I'm going to come back in here and check this editor area. Here's that break that I wasn't looking for. There's another one. I can fix that. Let's say, so as I created this in my text editor, I was thinking bullets, but as I pasted it, it didn't create bullet points here. So I'm going to just come down here and go into my editor and click on bullets, or rather, click here. I'll take out my lines. And to save you the agony of following along with me here, I'm going to pause and fix this and come back. Okay, and I'm back. I've corrected my formatting problems there, so that's looking a little bit better. A couple of notes on just a couple of tools that you may want to use. I just want to point them out here. Nothing says you have to use these, but they might help. If you're ever copying and pasting text, you've got these two options here. Paste as text and paste from Word. So if you've written your article in your favorite word processor, you can click on that one. It brings up a window and you can just paste your content in that square. It's going to be the same thing if you're pasting as plain text. This might be helpful if you're ever copying maybe from another website that you've taken text from and the formatting is not going to be quite right here. Paste it as plain text and you get a little bit more reliable and consistent results. The other thing I want to show you is right now my workspace is fairly small. I can click and drag on this lower corner and pull that down, and I've got a little bit of extra workspace. So that can be helpful. Another piece that might be helpful is this icon here where it says go to full screen. If I click on that, that's going to take my whole desktop or my whole browser window and let me use that as my editing screen. Sometimes that can be helpful. And to get out of there, eventually this top part might disappear as you start navigating through here. If you want to go back, just hover over that top, press exit full screen, and it takes you right back to where you were. So I'm going to come back over here, click my preview button, and take a look. All right, That looks a little better. One thing about blog posts is, as in any reading, pictures make it nice. I make it a rule not to read anything that doesn't have pictures. In this case, I've written a blog post about a girl who's taken a social media campaign to the airways of YouTube. So I can actually embed that YouTube video right in the post. So what I've done is I've come to the page in YouTube where her video is. A quick refresh there. Under every video there's going to be a share button. If you click on that share button, it's going to give you a couple of options. Right here, the one that's highlighted is just a link to that video. If you click on that embed button, it's going to highlight some code. In this case, it's called iframe code. Do a copy, Control C, or you can copy that text here. And what we're going to do is paste that in our code in the WordPress editor. Now you do have a couple of options right down here. You can choose a custom size if you want. If you want a great big video player, you can click on that one. I'm going to just select the default here. So again, I've copied this text that they gave me. I'm going to come back to my editing screen, and if you look up here under the HTML tab, that's where I've got to paste this. So I'm going to click, and I can edit the HTML code directly here. And I go to the place where I want to insert that video, and I'm going to paste that. So I just did a quick paste right there. And just as in everything else, it's not a bad idea to save your work every now and then. So I'm going to save the draft, and then I'm going to preview it. And here's my preview over here. And now I've got my video that when people come to and read this post, they can just click play right there in the post. So we'll turn that off. So that's looking a little bit better. It's a little bit more user interactive for my visitors. Down in my bullet points in this particular blog post, I talk about how she's gained traffic in the search engines and has gotten some big exposure from Google and places beyond the internet as well. So I want to take a little picture. I took a screenshot of the Google results, and I want to post that maybe right in here as well. So I'm going to come back to my editing screen. I'm going to come back to the visual editor. Now, as you can see, in my visual editor, my YouTube video has disappeared here. Don't worry about it. It's still there. It's still embedded. That's just what it looks like for editing purposes. I'm going to say I want to insert my picture right about here. Now what I want is for my picture to appear over on the right side of these bullet points. So to upload a picture, I'm going to click on this icon right up here where it says Upload Insert. And it's going to let me browse on my computer to my photo file. As of this recording on WordPress, they have a new feature where you can actually just go to your file and go to your file browser and drag that file into this window here. Let me see if I can do that. So I've got my file here. I'm just going to pull it and drag it over. You can see the file is uploading. Your upload time is going to depend on the size of your photograph as well, just as you would expect. So it says, yep, it took the image, it's all good. My dimensions are 786 by 1267. It's a pretty good sized image. So it's probably going to be too big to post directly, but let me show you what we can do with that. First, I'm going to put in a title though. I'm going to call it Tebow Date Google Results. And I might copy and paste the same as the alt text. You can put a description if you want. It's not crucial right now. The link URL, if you want your photograph to link to, if you want the photograph in your blog post to link to that photograph in a new web page, you can include that URL right here. Usually I click none, but for now I'm going to leave it active, and I think you're going to see why in a second. So usually I would click none, so that's not going to be a link. In this case, I am going to make it link to the full-size video. In alignment, right here you can see the icon where it says the text is going to wrap around to the left side of the photograph, which is placed on the right. That's where I'm going to leave it. And rather than the full-size image, it is pretty big. I'm going to see what large looks like. When I've edited all my information there, I just click Insert into Post. And there's my photograph. So again, it is pretty big. It takes the full width of my blog post, and I don't want it to be that big. So I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. What I can do is click on that photo and just drag that and make it smaller. It's still pretty big. I'm going to make it even smaller. I'm going to squash it up a little bit. Okay, so that's not too bad. Another way to edit the size of this is to come in here and click on that edit icon. And in here I can edit the size of that photograph as well. I'm going to close out of here for right now though. And I'm going to click on my preview button once more, and we'll see what this looks like. Okay, so it's looking a little bit better. What's going to happen since I included that link on my image is I leave this clickable. If I click on that link, it then takes my viewers to the full picture, and so they can see the detail of that. So I'm going to leave that in this case, just because in the picture, in the photograph that I used, you can't really see the detail, right? That information there is not legible. So in that case, that's why I chose to make this image clickable. Otherwise, it's not necessary. So that looks pretty good. I'm going to call it done. Oh, one other thing, the little undermarks, the little red squiggly underlines, that's your spell checker. So that's a nice feature in the WordPress editor, but it's always a good idea to pay attention to that. I'm going to assign this to one of my categories. I like to assign everything in all of my blog posts to categories just to help keep things organized. Whoops, just realized you can't see my categories. So here they are. I don't want it to be uncategorized. I'm going to call this one examples and case studies. I'm going to uncheck categorized. And under tags, tags are what I use to just kind of identify in single word or very short phrases what my article is about. So in this case, Tebow is one of my tags. My article is about YouTube. I talk about Google. So all of the main topics that I discuss in this article, I'm going to attach tags to. I also mentioned Twitter. I could put social media, but everything on this whole site is about social media. So I'm going to say that one's going to be just a given, and I might put viral. Then I click add, and my tags are now attached. Now that's the basics. As soon as I'm ready, I can click on publish, and that is actually going to make this post public. So when I go back to selectivesocialmedia.com on my front page, which happens to be, I'm reloading this, my front page happens to be my post page. There's the new post on my page. So if I wanted to write a new page, which is different from a post, the process is going to be exactly just identical. So that's the basics. I hope that helps. As you saw in the editing window, there's lots of options that you have. But hopefully this quick tutorial is sufficient to get you started in creating your first posts. Good luck.